Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Distance Dilemma podcast. My name is Shaun, and I'm in Dublin. This is Imran, and he's in Thun, Switzerland. This is our long distance friendship podcast. This is episode 12, and yeah, let's get straight into it. Imran, how have you been over the last week?
That was a perfect introduction.
Yeah, I nailed it.
I was listening back to all the episodes recently, and Shaun has done the introduction each week. So I think next week I want to do the introduction and see how we go on.
Okay, but we did say this on like episode 6 or 7. We're like, oh, we'll let Imran do it next week, and then you were just
no,
like,
we just completely forgot. Yeah. I know, that is true, yeah. I feel like we got it down to a T now. It's kind of perfect. Like, the pronunciation is correct. The locations is correct.
Everything about it is like, it's running smooth. It's a well-oiled machine now. Just like, to be fair, the podcast, like, as a whole, we've got everything behind the scenes kind of running fairly smoothly. The only issues that we have, which we had today, was like scheduling conflicts because we're both really busy people, and your schedule, especially your work schedule, isn't the same every week. Whereas it's a bit easier for me. Like, I know I'll be at home at 5 o'clock every Monday to Friday. You know.
Well, this is adding to the dilemma. Oh,
there we go. Well, this is it.
There we go.
Pun intended, folks. Pun absolutely intended. But yeah, how has your week been, bud?
Good. Just been working. The weather's been good. I'm planning a lot of people to come over, like family members and stuff. So I've been a bit stressful trying to ring everyone, see when they're available, see if I can get off the time off work, look at flights, make sure everything's good. Like I was telling you here before, it's just like I don't want like family members to spend like too much money when they're coming here. Of course, like, they don't have to pay for accommodation, food and stuff like that, but like I was saying, even just to get the transport from the airport for them to come here is like super expensive. So been trying to find the best prices for them at the moment, and then just been catching up on shows. Started back watching a new show that I was watching before, Abbott Elementary. It's kind of like a American sitcom kind of thing, and then obviously watching Daredevil as well, which has been great. No spoilers.
Yeah. No spoilers. We can talk about that off camera. But
yes,
I think maybe like in 2 weeks, or maybe depending on when we record next week, we could do like a little 5-10 minutes.
We'll do an overview. We'll do an overview.
Yeah. I won't go too deep into that. We're currently watching. We're almost finished Dexter. I feel like since we started this podcast, I've not been watching anything else but Dexter, sprinkled in with a few other things. So we're about to wrap up on Dexter. And I'm also watching for the first time The Last of Us. Simone has seen that. I'm really enjoying it. We're on episode, I think tonight's episode 7, so we've only got 2 or 3, I think 3 episodes total to watch left. The episode with Nick Offerman is one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen.
Me and Nicola started rewatching it. Well, I finished already, and I'm playing the video games at the moment. And I was getting Nicola, because I knew the new episode was coming out on Sunday for the new season. Yeah. So I was like, Nicola, you gotta watch it, because like by the time I want to watch it on Sunday, we gotta. But Nicola's kind of falling asleep through the episodes, just because she finds it hard to sit up. You know, Nicola, like, she finds it hard to sit up and watch the episodes straight through. And we watched that episode. I think it's episode 3 or 2.
Yeah,
one or the other.
Episode 3. Yeah.
And she was bet into it. And the funny thing, she before it came into like where he like enters like the land, and like they're having the dinner and everything. Nicola like turns to me and goes, "I guarantee they're going to get on." Spoiler alert for anyone there as well.
Like even Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, literally. No, and then it was the way like Nicholas when he turned the plate, and then Nicholas was like, "That's gay." I was like, respect.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful episode.
Like, generally, like, I think it's one of those episodes of TV you could show anybody that episode without even watching, because it's only the 3rd episode of the show, but you could show that to somebody without seeing the first 2 episodes. And I was struggling with the first 2. I didn't dislike it, but I was like struggling to kind of like, you know, really get into it. Like, I was kind of like, oh, like, it's good, but I don't understand why like it kind of took over the world when it came out. Like, you know, whereas like that episode, I was like, right, that's like Ozymandias, Solgon type of level TV. Season 3, episode 8 of Invincible. You know, episode 13. I forget the name of the episodes, but the last episode of Daredevil season 3 as well. Up there for like peak television. Like, you know, and I loved it. You know, so yeah, I'm enjoying it. We're probably going to finish it, I'd say, tomorrow, which would be Saturday, and then be ready because it'll be out on Monday over here.
Yeah,
and then we'll just watch it week by week, and then we'll probably have Dexter wrapped up as well, which I'm ready for Dexter to be over. You know, as much as I like Dexter, as much as I like the show, I'm ready for it to come to its finish, because I feel like I've been watching it for like it's 8 seasons. It's not the longest show by any means, but like it's the longest show I've watched in a while. Like because like recently I've watched like Sopranos, Saul, and what other kind of like serious shows I've been watching. Like anything else I've been watching has been like anywhere between 3 to 6 seasons. So I just think that extra little stretch to 8 was a bit. It's kind of catching up with me now a
Yeah.
little bit. Like you know.
You should go back to maybe watching like a 1 part, 2 part season. I think one I was telling you about before is now they've made 3 seasons, but with different characters through all the season. Is True Detective. The first
Yes, yeah,
season
this is
was
one that I
is meant
want
to
to
be
watch.
yeah. The first season is Matthew McConaughey and I can never think of your man's name, but it's the guy from Now You See Me Too. And
Oh, Woody Harrelson, isn't it?
Woody Harrelson, sorry. I never can think of his name. But that's meant to be brilliant as well. So that's like another 1 season that I have written down that I want to watch. I also want to watch Band of Brothers. That's like a war series. That's meant to be very good as well. But like I'm trying to like after I kind of finish Daredevil and like watching the sitcoms, I want to sit down and like look at what kind of shows I want to watch. I'm always like with shows. I'm always like pre-advancing. Like I want to watch this. I want to. But seeing as you're probably a bit further ahead with me on like the major, the ones we talked about before, the 5 you have to watch
Yeah, the
before.
big five. Yeah.
The big 5.
The only one I have to do is it's like next we're gonna watch Severance because I've only heard like amazing things from Severance. Like,
You'll love it.
yeah, so we need to watch that. But again, that's only 2 seasons, so like I have to. I'd say like the next it's not even that long. It's 5 seasons. Is like the next one we'll probably watch is The Wire, or it's the next one
Yeah.
I'll watch at least anyway.
That's what on my list. Yeah.
I was watching a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX for the last couple
You're
of
saying
weeks.
that, yeah.
And I've fallen off that, and the reason I fell off it is because I was using small. Like it's on Crunchyroll, which is just like a whole anime streaming
Yeah,
service.
I have it. Yeah.
Yeah, and she just she had bought it for a year and she wasn't renewing it because she wasn't watching it. And I was like, right, okay. I kind of like I was just finished season 1 as well. Like I was about 4 episodes away from finishing. And those seasons are long, man. They're like 50 episodes like per season. Now, like I wasn't like getting too like it was pretty much like background noise for when I was having my lunch when I was working from home and stuff but still.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I might try and get back onto a show that I did start watching. I got to the second season and I enjoyed it, but it just became a bit too repetitive. Is House? Have you seen House?
I've seen a couple of episodes. It's on my list as well. But I don't know. I could be wrong. But wasn't there something dodgy that came out about the main actor of House? I could be wrong. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'll need to research that. I don't want to get into it so much. But after House was finished, there was something I heard about the main actor in the show that kind of put a ruin on the show. But anyway, no, I have to give it a watch.
Yeah, I did try and watch it. Like it was just after like the second lockdown or something like that. I'd moved into Islands and I tried to give it a go. And the problem I found with it was it's very, very repetitive. Like it's a hospital drama, like, and it's not
Yeah.
drama like Breaking Bad or Sopranos or like where there's like a couple of plot things going on. It's like no, like the whole plot is a patient comes in with some type of thing that cannot be solved and how solves it. That is the premise for every single episode.
Have you ever watched Grey's Anatomy?
No.
I'm actually so surprised you haven't watched it, and I'm glad you don't because I seen it's getting renewed for another season. I'm like, like someone needs to blow that hospital up because there's always something happening. There's like no, but like I remember since I was a kid, that show has still been running, and it's like, how can you make? Yeah, like how can they still keep making? I know you're like, of course you just get new writers and new scripts, but the same actors keep showing up every single year to record this. Like that's a commitment. It's like working the soap opera.
I do think like if it depends on what you're doing. Like soap operas obviously are like meant to be lower budget, long term, like stretching over the course of decades and having daily and weekly showings and stuff like. But I feel like if you're running like a serious kind of like drama series, you do need to know when to finish it as well. It's just as important to know when to stop as it is when to then to like when to start and where your seasons are going. Like for me, like as much as I have loved Daredevil, like I wouldn't have. So if they were still going with the original series of Daredevil, if they just landed that plane and didn't leave that on a cliffhanger, I would have been happy with that. But because they fucking shoehorned that thing in at the end with Bullseye, you're like, right, okay, so we have to get a season 4 now, like. Whereas I would have been very happy for them never to touch that show, or Daredevil, or like as much as I love Charlie Cox and D'Onofrio and Foggy and I can think of the actress name, Foggy and Karen.
Karen,
I was about to say the actress's name, but as much as I would rather it be like this perfect 3 seasons than like it like the legs falling off at the end, like, you know, because I hear a lot of people say that about Prison Break, that like the first season of Prison Break is meant to be insane, and then like it just gets worse and worse as it goes on, like, whereas it probably should have just finished that one. You know,
it's kind of like the first season of Prison Break is really good, then it goes lower down for 2 and 3, then 4 is really good, and then it goes back down again to 5. Because I watched it with Nicola when the 5th season was being made, and we were the same when we were watching it. After thinking back on it, we were like, oh, there's only a couple of episodes within the seasons that are good, but as like an overall season 1 is brilliant. I wanted to ask you a question actually about like when you were growing up in your house, what kind of soap operas were on the TV? Or like, did your mom or your like your nanny or ever have soap operas on the TV? Because for me, it was like my mom used to. It was always like Neighbours, Home and Away. They're like the Aussie ones that were on RTE. Then it would be like Corrie, EastEnders. We didn't really watch Fair City, but it would have been on RTE1 at the time. What kind of shows did your mom or your nanny watch, or did they even watch it?
My mom not so much, because, well, my mom had me when she was really young. Like I think my mom was like 16 or 17 when she had me. So like, it wasn't really her thing to be into soaps. Like, you know, so it was more my grandparents, and they still watch, and it's mainly Corrie and EastEnders. Like, you know, I can remember very specifically when Peggy Mitchell left EastEnders. That was like that was like the TV event of the year. Whenever that happened, it was probably like 2008, 2009 or something like that. So I know, like, I do, like, this is again me going into the Chase lore. Whenever like questions come up about Corrie or EastEnders, like something in the back of my mind will pop up and go. I'll usually get it 50-50. Like, you know, if it's like not a multiple choice question, I'd say every second time I get it right. Like, you know, I know some of the characters, and like,
that's such a weird flex.
From that. I know.
Such a, with the shirt on and everything. Look how cocky he is today, lads.
Yeah, for any of the listeners that aren't watching on YouTube, I'm wearing a kind of very flamboyant Hawaiian type of shirt with like lots of flowers and stuff. It's
getting ready for Lilo and Stitch.
It's giving fat guy with ice cream from Lilo and Stitch, pretty much. Like, you know, I've just got a lot more hair than that fella. I will when
bald.
We're gonna be going to, I imagine we're going to see it, because Simone's been like, oh my god, Stitch is so cute, which, to be fair, fella is cute as fuck.
He's so cute.
I probably will very likely be turning up in something like this and walking up with an ice cream just to be that guy.
Bring your little Stitch with you.
Oh yeah, I forgot there as well. So
if you like grab the guitar, you like pretty much you and Stitch are the same person.
I have a ukulele here as well.
There you go.
Happy days. We are sorted. Something I actually wanted to say to you as well, right? And this is like, you know, I bet this is probably one of the reasons that some people may choose to leave Ireland as well. So I just thought it'd be like a good thing to throw up on the podcast as well. You've known, you know very well yourself personally, and you know the struggle that I've been having getting on the road, with, like, you know, just getting a driving test, right? So we've got more updates on this front, right?
Okay.
So now, just to catch anybody up who doesn't know, I passed my theory tests last January or last December, just before that, 23 or something like that. So I'll be at the end of this year. I'll be 2 years on a learning permit. I started my lessons really shortly after that. So I started my lessons like January, February, 24. I think. No, yeah. That's correct. Yeah, last year. So Grant, done my 12 lessons over the course of a few months, and I applied for my driving test. I think it was the end of April last year / start of May sort of period. I think by the time I actually could, you know, we have to stay on the thing for 6 months before you can actually start moving on the waiting list. So I think like mid to end May is like my official like date where I started moving on the waiting list. And my original date was the 11th of November. Then I got to September and I checked it again and it said February. Got to February, it said March.
Oh my God.
Got to the start of March, it said the end of April. But then I got into the end of March and I checked it again and it was saying first week in May. So it only moved a week and I was like, oh, promising. This is a good sign. It means that like they're not pushing it back as much. Went in and checked it on Monday, July.
Bro.
July. I honestly
Bro.
nearly had a mental breakdown in the house. I was here by myself because I was working, obviously just working from home, and I just paid off my insurance and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh, I better like just have a look and see what the story is like. Because I also paid for because I was like, oh, okay. I need to sharpen up. I need to do some pre-tests. And I just like I booked some refresher lessons as well, and I've been going out and doing refresher lessons. So I've spent easily about 300 quid on pre-tests and refresher lessons for this month.
Yeah.
And now they're saying July. And I'm just like, I had to ring my nana and go, right, nana, I have to tell you something. From in 2 weeks' time, once I've finished all these pre-tests and refresher lessons, you are on standby mode. Okay? And if a cancellation comes up, you're coming. I was like, you and Granda are on standby officially. And she was like, yeah, that's grand because this is actually starting to piss us off now as well. So,
Oh man, I'm praying you just pass it. Like,
man.
just get it over and done with. That's like when I finished mine, because you know as well yourself. I don't know if I talk about this on the podcast, but I had 3 dates to do my test.
Yeah, this was
The
fucking
first, yeah, the first day, I actually ended up getting COVID, so I couldn't do it. The second date, my test driver, he ended up getting COVID. Then the third day, I got up early at like 7 a.m. to do a pre-test, and because I wait like one of the driving skills, and I was prepared. I was really confident. The drive went brilliant with her, and she was like, "Oh, you're definitely gonna pass. This is probably the best driving you've ever done." Like I felt super confident, and you'll find yourself when you go to do driving tests the amount of energy you have because you just want to release it. You just want to get the test over and done with because it's a bit nerve wracking because you know how to drive. You're very comfortable in the car, but you're being judged on every single thing you've done.
We have both been in the car, literally in the exact same car with both of us behind the steering wheel. We're both very capable drivers.
Yeah, where you can drive.
I've driven that
fine.
car with you, and you've driven that car with me in it. Like,
Yeah.
we both know we're capable drivers.
It's just when you're trying to drive and someone's staring at you like this. But on the third test, the day before, Ireland decided to snow. So I literally was sitting there in the car like 5 minutes before my test, and they said to me if I would have came half an hour earlier, we would have been out on the road, done half an hour and back. So they cancelled it, and I was like, oh my god. So I actually had 2 driving tests and I had 3 cancellations, and the whole period of me getting my driver license was I started when I was 18, and I didn't actually get my driver's license till I was 22. So that was a long period. I know COVID had something to do with that as well, but it was just such a long period of when that all was happening.
Yeah, and it's really frustrating. Like I feel like like it's annoying for me as well because I only have Simone's stepdad out here who can drive with me. And to be fair, shout out to Monum. Monum, we love Monum. He's such a great guy, and the problem with Monum is if you ask him to do something, he will not tell you no. Sorry, my speaker that I had playing music on just decided to turn off. But Monum will always say yes. He won't say no, even though he probably is too busy to do something like that. So I don't like to be pressing him all the time on it,
Yeah.
And all my family now are over in Blanche because I don't live in Blanche anymore, as you know. So like if I want to get someone from my family to come out and practice with me, they have to drive 20 minutes, half an hour to come over here, come out with me for an hour, and then drive back to Blanche for 20 minutes, half an hour.
Yeah, it's 2 hours of the day, like.
Yeah, and it is just for them to sit in the passenger seat and watch me go wee, play Mario Kart in real life. My power ups are the drive through in McDonald's.
I was actually reading yesterday that a lot of people from Ireland are actually going over to Georgia because you can take a test there if you have
an Irish learner.
If you have an Irish learner permit, you don't have to be a citizen. So people now are going over to Georgia. I just reading something on Instagram like last week, and they're trying to do their test over there and get their license there because they drive on the same side of the road, so it's the same as the UK. Which is, I'm actually mad when you think of it. Like people are actually having to leave the country to go do a driving test.
Oh, it's crazy.
What the hell, man?
Yeah, and like I've seen more and more stuff about it in the media. And like I was talking to one of the guys I was doing a refresher lesson with, and he was like, it's just like it's getting to the point now where the actual the drive the instructors that not the instructors you do your test with, the guys who like your teachers, like the guys you go out and do your 12 lessons with are now so busy that they're having to turn people away, or they're starting to have waiting lists now because people are doing their lessons, but they want to kind of stay on top. So they have basically clients that, they should move on within 6 months that are staying with them for a year, and they haven't got spaces to basically take on new people. So it's a shit show.
The backlog is insane.
It's
I
crazy.
feel like it's so long.
I rang the RSA because you know what I'm like. I'm terrible with confrontation. And I'm so bad. I cannot deal with people giving out to me. Or I don't do arguments. I don't do screaming matches around like that. I'm very, let's just throw water on the fire and just try and calm down.
Yeah.
And I just was I wanted to scream at somebody so badly, but I knew that wasn't going to solve that. And so I rang the RSA and was like, lads, can you please just talk me through what's going on? And your man was just so casual. He was like, yeah, the average wait time is 39 to 40 weeks, man. And I was like, man, he was just so casual about it as well. And I was like, oh God, man, okay, I get it's not your fault. And I didn't shout around. I just was like, okay, right, this is
I'm
really
imagining,
annoying,
I'm imagining you're probably the fifth person that day that rang him saying the same thing. But so in his mind, he's like, how do you put
yeah, but this is it as well. I get he's just in a call center taking calls, and I'm definitely not. I'm not the only person being affected by this. There's literally, I think I saw something the other day. I think there's around 30,000 people on the wait list for driving tests. So and you could go and do one in Kerry or Mayo, but then you get somebody to drive you to Kerry or Mayo to do it. And you can't go on the motorway. It's gas because you look at at the cancellation list, and there's no wait time for a test in in Ballina. There's literally 3 weeks wait, and they're on the road. But obviously I can't drive to Ballina with somebody in the passenger seat, because it's a fucking 4-hour drive.
Have you ever seen that Irish meme? It's a video of a lad from Dublin, and he gets his granddad to drive him down to Mayo to do his driving test, and he messes with his granddad after doing the test, comes in with the form saying that he failed. And his granddad's ripping him out of it, calling him all names out of the sun. And he goes on for 5 minutes, and then when they're in the car, he turns around to I'm only messing granddad past. His granddad's fuming. We must have the video when we were doing clips, but it's hilarious, man.
I haven't seen that, but
you definitely have. I'll send it on to you after the podcast, but it's super funny. Yeah.
But it's a source of I just kind of came to me there earlier on. I was I wonder is that I know people are not leaving Ireland because of driving tests. They're not moving away. But it's an example of how the government is just failing people, and it's mainly let's be honest with you, it's mainly people of our generation that are between the ages of 18 to 28 probably right now. It's just another thing that's right, okay, you can't get on the road, you can't get a house, you can't afford to pay. I just smacked my microphone there. Sorry, audio listeners. There's me trying to be fancy with listing things off my finger. Anyway, I digress. It's just it's not, it's the straw that breaks the camel's back, because there's just so much of this sort of stuff going on.
I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. Even paying rent is expensive. So it's just, in my mind, it's just dead money. Because it's not going anywhere. You've no future plans there, unless you're going to be there for 10 years and you have a lease for that long. But let's be real, most places now it's more than 4 or 5 years leases, and then you have to renew it, and the price goes up. So adulting.
Speaking of adulting, I did a very adult. Well, me and Simone did a very adulting thing yesterday. We bought a couch.
Class.
Did you just have to buy a couch for your place, or did it come with a couch?
We had nothing. Our place was completely not furbished at all, so we had to buy everything from scratch. And we've actually had a fair bit done to the apartment in 6 months. What couch did you get? What kind of shape?
An L-shaped couch, and it's orange.
Same as us, yeah. Orange? Ooh.
Orange, yeah.
The difference between my apartment to Sean's is gas, because ours is very monochrome, grey and white and cream, and theirs is orange, black, a little bit of white,
we've got
watercolors.
We have that kind of really bright neon pink splattered around. So our sitting room is navy, it's a dark kind of royal blue navy, around the walls, but then we've got lots of pop of colors. So like that's where it's a kind of orangey shade. It's not luminous orange, like it's some sort of pet friendly material, but we got samples the other day, and like we have we've cushions that are orange, and then we've cushions that are like that neon type of pink as well, just because it adds a pop of color around the place.
Very hip with the kids. Very hip with the kids.
Very hip with the kids. The thing, we're lucky that we can do that to our place as well. Like, actually, do you know what's a good personification of what the sitting room's like? My shirt. If you look at my shirt, it's very like our sitting room. It's just not got flowers. It's got, bright aesthetic instead of flowers. Like, but like, dark background base and then a bit of colour splashed around the place. Like, and then like our kitchen is black and white, and the hall is heading for black and white. But we want to what we want to do is we want to make the hall, because we don't get a lot of natural light there, so we're thinking let's make it dark, like on the walls and stuff, and then put in neon signs around the place, and that'll make it really cool.
That'd be cool.
So that's like our current mission, like so the couch is bought, so like next we need to buy a wardrobe, a chest of drawers, and like we need like a unit for the sitting room for me, because it's gas. Like we've been here nearly a year, and I've got like a lot of records, and I still don't have a record player. Because I had one that I gave to you. Because when I moved into
actually, I have it here beside me.
I just posted off there.
Nah, it's here now. Sorry. Yeah, it's literally right over there.
Oh, good.
I'm not going to tilt the camera or anything. And I literally have. Let's put it because I wanted to start collecting vinyls. So
is this the Interstellar thing?
Nicola got me the Interstellar one. Super cool. Really good thing. Then Finn gave me 2 Oasis ones, which are these 2 here. The first 2 albums that they have. Then I bought a Bob Marley live one, because I wanted to buy ones that like music my mum had listened to growing up. So I bought She Loves Bob Marley, and then of course Amy Winehouse, the Back to Black album. And then I'm like, my plan is I've just put up a shelving unit in the games room, so that's going to be Lego. So I'm going to start collecting Lego and vinyls. That's going to be my 2 collectible items. And then my mom's actually rang me after the podcast last week and said my walls look super bare compared to yours. So
well,
I think
fair, I have like guitars on mine, so that automatically just makes them really fucking cool.
I know, and also just for effect, it's always super dark in this room. I should try like maybe have the light on for next week in the podcast, but I feel like it's too bright and I'll just look like Casper the Ghost.
Well, if it's behind you, then if it comes behind you, it's just going to make for a weird like visual effect. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually thinking about maybe moving the table that side, so then I don't have to be in the dark every time I record the podcast. But I don't know, I kind of like the layout here, so I have to think about that. A ring light, that's what I need to get.
20 quid on Amazon, you'd be sorted.
Yeah, there you go.
Look, we're after buying Zoom Pro. We're buying ring. Well, I literally have 3 ring lights around me right now. But we're moving on. Imran's setup is moving on up. Like, podcast is not turning a profit whatsoever. But we are vibing.
We're here for laughs, folks. We're
here for the laughs
and complaints and complaints
and complaints. And speaking of complaints, we're gonna
see what I did there. See what I did there.
It's a nice segue.
Who said I'm not a content creator?
So it was my turn to pick a topic for the week, and I've gone with pet peeves. And what inspired this was I was just like out and something was recommended. I was like, oh, this be something good to talk about in the podcast, like, because I just got a bit of fuck's sake kind of thing, like, got frustrated with something in public, not frustrated, but got ticked annoyed off, let's say, like, annoyed. Yeah, annoyed. Even annoyed's a little bit strong. Like, it's something that does not affect your day anyway. It's more just like, cop on, like
third world problem kind of thing.
Literally, the definition of that, and all these things as well. Like, I want to put out there, these are all very much privileged problems. Like, these
humanitarianism that annoys you.
These are very much like, we're lucky to have a roof over our head, and let's concentrate on something else problems. Like, we know there's people much worse off. But what inspired this, and every single response said this, is except for one from our Instagram story. So what I'm going to kick off with is slow walkers. Slow walkers need to cop on and speed up. Dragging your heels and taking in the day. Like, man, people have places to be. We got shit to do. Like, let's go.
It's always when you get off the bus as well. When I get off the bus, there's always like 4 people in front of me, and they they don't all stand to one side to let people on the left hand side to walk past. The quick walkers walk on the left, slow walkers kind of on the right, because they're just standing around. and then you try to walk to the left, and then someone walks in front of you, so then you got to wait, and then if someone has 2 bags, you don't want to be like, get out of the way, get out of the way.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such an inconvenience.
Yeah.
I feel like how much time do they have in their day to just walk slow?
Man, people got places to fucking be.
Yeah.
People got places to be, and like what kind of makes this funny is, and she'll say this as well. Simone's a slow walker. Simone is an avid slow walker. Like to the point where like if me and Simone take the dog on the walk, like if we're not going to like a park, like if we're just going around the block, right? Like we could do the whole like estate. It would take me 20 minutes max. If I'm with Simone, 35 minutes minimum.
Have you ever said it to her?
All the time. She knows it wrecks my head, like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she knows. Like, she'll put her hands up and say it herself as well. But like, yeah, like you said there, like when you're like, it's more like, right, okay, it's 5 to 5 on a Tuesday morning, lads, in town, and you're there dragging your heels, going, looking at your for anybody who's on the audio. I picked up a phone, and they're like betting to TikTok or. Like, like they're just betting into their phones and they're not watching. That's another thing. Like when people aren't watching what's going on in public, like when they're not paying attention to the Lewis or the buses or just people trying to dart by them in general, like
especially in town because how busy town is. Like,
do you know where else it happens? Aldi.
It always happens at Aldi.
It's like people get caught. Like you need to understand when you're going into Aldi, you're going like it's like you're going to IKEA. There's a specific route you have to follow. You cannot go straight over to the biscuits. You have to go by the vegetables. You have to go by the fridges. Then you go by the ethnic section, which is where they have rice and fucking
the ethnic
garlic.
section.
But like it's where they have like rice, garlic,
Cause wraps, tortillas,
not hating
Indian
on
spice.
That. Not hating on that. I spent about 20 quid a week in that section. Not hating on it at all. But like it's the world food section. Let's call it. Like, you gotta go by there. You gotta go down by your jars and your pickles and your onions. Then you get down to your root vegetables, and then you have to go back up the shop again. Buy your crisps and your water and your drinks and stuff, and then you go back around by the freezers. You have people going fucking bare arse, just going straight to the freezers. Sorry, no, it's not that type of deal here. You need to follow the code, right? There's an unwritten rule of Aldi. Like this is something very passionate about. Like
You know what wrecks my head is like you want to get, I say like 2 chicken breasts or whatever, and they're standing in the middle of where the door is, like on their phone, and you're like, oh excuse me, and they're like, oh sorry, yeah. And then they push forward. Like that little split, like 3 seconds where they could have just moved forward, but I have to wait 3 seconds for you to move out of the way. Then I grab my chicken breast. Oh man, it wrecks my head.
Your €22 chicken breast over in Switzerland.
Yeah, my €50 chicken breast for.
Do you have Aldi in Switzerland?
Yeah, that's only where we shop.
Yeah,
about 15 minutes down the road from us.
They're German, so like you would.
Yeah. I mean, the prices aren't like that much different, but it's just like I was telling you before, like the meat is probably the most expensive thing. Did we get any other what people?
Yeah,
said?
we got a few other things. But like slow walkers was the big one. That was the one that everybody.
Yeah. I had that on my list as well.
Said that was top of my list as well. Do you want to go through yours or will we go through the people's?
Yeah, we'll go to the people's.
To the people's. So the next one I have from our Instagram submissions, and I would say I probably fall into this category: people who are loud.
You are loud.
I am loud.
But I mean, like, I feel like sometimes if I'm talking on a topic I'm interested in, I get super loud. Nicola always says it to me. It's like when me and you were talking about film. Yeah. Like anything to do with like films or music, we just start like getting so into it that we don't realize our voice levels are just increasing. Yeah. Where people just like talk so monochrome the whole time, just real low tone, like hello, like normal conversation.
Yeah, for sure. Now again, Simone says it about me as well, but I don't know. But Simone says it makes sense because everyone in my family is quite loud, and like we're very like my family are very like events people. Like when it's like like it was my nana's birthday, so like we're all going out for a meal in the pub, and you kind of have to shout when you're in those type of environments and stuff. So I think just from growing up and being around that type of stuff, and like I don't know, like I am loud. Like I'll put my hands up and say it. Like I know I am, and I've become a bit more conscious of it. I'm trying not to be, but like I think like my default setting is loud. Like so
I mean it's you could there's so many worse other attributes you could have like than being loud. I think sometimes
not according to this submission. No,
not according to this submission.
No.
I want to add something onto that what that person said. I had people that are loud at the cinema, that
Yeah.
pisses me off.
There is
Like, you pay money to go to the cinema. Don't be on your phone. Don't be. I was at the cinema one time with my mum, and there was two girls. Now it was middle of the week, fair enough, and it was like 5 p.m. during the day, so it was the earlier viewing. But there was three girls sitting in front of us, and I mean the whole time they were just giggling and laughing on their phone. Like, I genuinely don't know how I didn't snap. Like, I was literally biting my fingernails, like not to say because it's so distracting.
Have you ever confronted somebody in the cinema? Like, oh, that sort of stuff. I've done it once.
I think once I told some junkie to shut up because he like answered the phone and he was like, "How you, bud? How you, Anto? You alright, Anto? Yeah, no worries, yeah." And I was like, "Mate, just take the phone and go outside." I think I turned around and was like, "Take the phone and go outside," and then he shouted back at me. I don't know. I mean, you know me, I'm the same as you. Like, I don't like confrontation or anything like that. So.
Yeah, I done it once, and that it was because it was going on for like 20 minutes, and like and it was an MCU film as well. So and this is when Marvel was good. Black Panther.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So like it was release week, or like it wouldn't have been out long because I was going.
Was the cinema busy?
Yeah, it was busy enough. Yeah. What happened was, so we were sitting there watching the film, grand, and to my right there was about 3 spaces like of empty seats, and then there was like a group of 4 young fellas, and they couldn't have been older than like 15, 16, something like that.
Yeah.
I would have been like 19 at this point, I reckon. And they're going. They wouldn't shut up, which is like, right, okay, whatever. But then they started flashing their phone cameras around the place, and and they were doing it to be little cunts, like,
Yeah.
And they were flashing their things, and they were just acting the bollocks. And then an usher came up to them, and was like, "Lads, cop on, stop, whatever." And that was after like 5 minutes, maybe after they started doing that. But then like it went on for another 15 minutes, and I just went up, and like I just stood up, and like I just snapped at them. Like, I fully just went apeshit on them. Like, I was like, "Well, you just cop on, you're in the cinema, get out, like, what are you after paying your money here for?" Like, and yeah, I did that, and then like like they did shut up, and like 3 people like around us all just went, "Thank fuck you did that." So
Respect.
I didn't feel like as much of a prick, On that type of note, so we're brilliant as the segues today, man. I tell you something.
I have to say.
Top tier. So kind of on that topic of people being loud and not like respecting how you should be in the cinema, people not respecting public transport etiquette.
Oh, you mean like the lads at the back of the bus asking you for cans of drills at 3 a.m. in the morning?
It's more just like people like rush hour blare. Like, we talked a bit about people blaring their phones and stuff, like, but like just not having any cop on. Like for example, like something I have to do on the bus every week going to rehearsals is like I have this massive guitar bag, right? Because it holds 2 guitars and it holds all my guitar rig and stuff, like, that helps me set up. Thing's fucking heavy and it's massive. It takes up 2 seats in the bus, and so do I, right? So anyway, so I'm like, right, okay, I'm gonna sit in the wheelchair thing because I'm taking up so much space, like, not because I need a wheelchair because I'm that fat, but we're not that far off, honestly. Give it another year. So I'm there, and I'm like getting out of the way, stuff like that. Like, people like who people who don't move their bags for people when they need to sit down. Like,
that pisses
they have
me
like
off.
they're on the inner seat, the outer seat is free. The bus is starting to fill up. Like, fair enough, put your bag there. If the bus is empty, put your bag there. No problem. We all want a bit of personal space. Nobody wants to be sat beside the bus, right?
No.
By a stranger. That's grand. The second you notice that most seats haven't got 2 available, you need to take your bag on your lap or put it under your feet. No question. But it's just, there's some people that just like they have like what wrecks my head is when somebody has to ask, or when you have to ask, "Can you move your bag so I can sit down, please?" Like, that it boils my blood. Like, it's just manners, like,
It's kind of funny you said that about the bus, because Toon area is fairly much dominantly like an elderly area, so there's a lot of care homes here, and it's kind of like a thing between like all the Irish people here. We call it Wrinkle City, and the reason was, you'll see it when you come over, but the reason is because when you're on the bus, and sometimes like you've worked all day, you're up on your feet, you're walking around, you just want to sit down the bus, put music in, listen to a podcast for 20 minutes, zone out. But I feel so guilty all the time because I feel like I'm taking up a seat, because at this time it's fine, like 8 p.m, 9 p.m, anyone that's been on like the later shifts are like finishing work now, so they're all coming home at the same time, so the bus will be packed. And I'd be sitting down in the seat, and I see an elderly person come on. I'm like, oh. In the back of my mind, I'm like, the good part of me wants to get up and get in the seat, but the other part of me wants to be like, nah, I'm just sitting in the seat. Like, I don't want to give you my seat. But so now it's like the angel and the devil on one side being like, give him the seat, don't give him the seat, give him the seat, give him the seat. But just got good etiquette. Obviously, I'll give them the seat. Like, I offer them the seat, and they say no, they say no. Like, but
I see as well. This just confuses me more than that else, because this actually just like causes more confusion on the bus than anything else, right? Do you ever get when you see there's two people in the seats on the bus, and the person who is on the window side needs to get out, and the person who is on the outer side doesn't stand up and let them out? They just do this thing where like they kind of just shift their legs.
The little leg shift.
My brother in Christ, get the fuck up so the person can get out without sitting on your lap.
You know what I don't get as well? You know when they do stand up, but they stand like in front of them. They don't stand back. Yeah. So they stand in front of them, and then that person has to do the whole, sorry, I'll just go around you there. Instead of just stepping back, letting them walk out, and then sitting back in the in-seat.
Exactly, or this isn't as bad, but it's still a bit fucking weird that like people who, when the bus is starting to fill up, the window seat is free, but they sit on the outer seat.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Jump into the window seat. Like, alright, fair enough. If you're getting off next stop or two, grand. But if you're going, like, I've seen people, like, and then, like, when someone goes, can I sit in that seat? Again, they don't stand up. They, like, do the leg shift and, like, try and get them to squeeze in. And it's just crazy. Like, people just need to, like, learn. It's not even, like, I see a lot of, like, people being loud and stuff on the bus. That's a lot of, like, teenagers and just not being self-aware, not having an experience on the bus. Like, I get that, but like some of those things are like people who are like in their late 20s, 30s who are getting the bus every day that should know better. Do better, Ireland. Do better.
Do better. Do better with your bus etiquette.
Yeah.
Another one I had was this actually happened to me yesterday, and it really pissed me off. People that stop to talk in the middle of the path. So like I was walking on. So basically, I got off the bus. I was going across the bridge. Then I was heading to work. And I have to kind of walk through like the main square in town, so it's busy. Like there's people are going into shops, there's a road in the middle of it that a lot of maintenance workers come through. Then there's the shops on the right hand side. So I'm obviously earphones in, walking fast because I only have like a 6-minute period where I have to get in work on time because where the bus dropped me off. And there was like a cafe, and then there was like the walkway, and I was walking and I seen like a woman and another woman. They like obviously seeing each other. I'm like, oh, how are you doing? And instead of like coming together and stopping and pulling, if I saw you on the side of the road, I'd grab you and pull you to the side and we'd have a chat in the corner to let other people walk you. But they decided to like stop in the middle, but not like all the way in the middle that they're facing each other, that there was a little gap in the middle and then 2 little gaps on the side. So I didn't know whether to walk through the gap in the middle, walk around them on the sides. So I went to go walk in the middle, and then they walked closer. So then I tried to, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You didn't know. I tried to walk back around. Then she pulled her to the side where I was walking. But bear in mind, I was the only other person on this path. You could have just in the first way I was walking, genuinely just grab the person, stand to the right hand side, catch up there, and let me walk through. I know this is like we're gonna sound such like we're moaning about like just such small problems.
We're gonna sound like such privileged assholes.
Yeah, lads. We're from Blanche. We're not privileged, okay?
We're not from the nice part of Blanche either. Like we're from the rough part of Blanche.
Yeah. We're not quite Ongar.
Well, to be fair, I lived there for a year or two, but that was due to some traumatic circumstances. I get a pass on that one. I'm born and bred in Mahudred Lake as well, so. Yeah, if you hear me coming down the road, you start running.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid of confrontation, so.
Blanche is such a funny area though, because like you could go up like one side of the road, like the street, for 10 minutes, like, and it's like a nice enough area, and then you go like 5 minutes down the road, and there's like ghetto. 2 lads were just shot there last week on the main road.
Literally my estate, like.
Yeah.
It happened a couple of times where like, oh yeah, someone was shot just outside the estate, or like.
Do you know the story about Dylan? I can say the story. Dylan won't care. You know Dylan Cottle. So where Dylan Cottle lives, lads, for anyone that doesn't know.
Yes, I know what you're gonna say.
It's like at the junction between. I'm giving people that like. I'm just saying, explain this for people that live in Blanchard. It's like the junction that you turn to take the right and you go to head towards Scallywags, or if you take right, then you're heading down to where Peregrines. If you go straight, you're heading up towards Aldi, then up north. towards the plant centre. Anyway, doesn't matter. Look, your plants. We were playing pro clubs back in the day with the lads, and Dylan was on. It was like I say, like 7 p.m. So it's still kind of bright out. It's during summer, so good vibes. And Dylan was went quiet for a second, and he was like, "Lads, some fellas just had to be shot in my front garden." We're like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, some lad just got shot in my front garden." Like, what do you mean? And he just like looked out his window, and he just sent a photo in the group chat. And there's just like a lad lying on his front bush. And we were like, "Man, what the hell is going on?" And then he said like everyone on the road was like, "There's some fella out there being shot on the road." Is that the most blanche thing ever though? Like, it's no one rings the guards. Everyone just takes out their phone and takes a photo with this bloke on the road. It's like,
that's a pet peeve I have. That's another pet peeve. People just start recording instead of like doing that.
Ring the guards, ring the ambulance.
But like, I've noticed it's getting really bad over here for like people recording at like insensitive moments. Like somebody that could be having a bit of a tough time in town. Like, and I mean that in terms of like they could be getting robbed, or they could be having a bit of a mentee bee, you know, for my anxiety girlies out there, like, you know. Like, you know, you see some like Dublin city centre is its own like universe of like mad shit going on, like, you know. And like I see a lot of people like recording people struggling, or like people who record themselves giving homeless people stuff fucking wrecks my head. You're not doing it you're doing that for clout, you know.
The Americans are mad for that.
Oh my god, like if you want to do something kind, grand, go do something kind, fair play to you. Don't record it. If you record it, you've taken all goodwill out of that.
If you're with a community and you're sharing it for like a plan that you've organised, like a soup kitchen or like a plan thing, I completely get that. But lads that go out and they're like recording like themselves giving 50 quid to a homeless lad, like, you're just looking for clout, like.
Exactly, yeah. No,
we live in such
that really gets under my skin.
We live in such a weird like universe with social media sometimes. Like, all that kind of stuff really freaks me out, because it's like you're taking all the humanitarianism out of it. Like, it's like you don't have a connection with that person at all. You're just doing it purposely for your own agenda. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it.
Yeah, just do something like even like when people, like, I find it sometimes with like in person with people, they'll bring it up and be like, "Oh, I did this for somebody." I'm like, yeah, but gloating about it makes it about you. Just do it and be quiet, like, you know. And I don't even want to go into examples of stuff as well. Like, you know, it's like, if you want to do something good, do it. If you don't want to do something good, whatever. Like,
you just reminded me.
Like, you know,
you just remind something completely kind of similar topic, but kind of off topic. This is a really funny story, man. I'm kind of embarrassed to say it, but it's funny. So my first holiday, when I got with Nicholas, we went to Budapest. I think I told you the story before, but I'll tell you on the podcast. So we took out cash because it was my first time away. So Revolut wasn't kind of, you know, around 8 years ago. It boomed, and it wasn't like really a known thing. So a lot of the time you had to take cash out when you went away. And I think it's Lev. I could be wrong, the currency, but we only had a bit left. And me and Nicola went to the Hard Rock Cafe, and it was the last day, and I was like, I'm not going to use this cash, like, I'm just going to bring it home. And anyway, me and Nicola were walking, there was a homeless lad with a dog, and I was like, oh, softy for a homeless lad, you know, like, with any kind of animal, like, you got me, fair enough, you got me. And he had 2 bowls in front of him, right? And there was 1 bowl of water, and then 1 bowl for him, for like where he puts the cash in, but there was no money in it. Anyway, I wasn't looking, and I went over like to hand him the cash, but he kind of took a while to like grab it off me. I thought he was gonna like take it off me, so I was like, oh, don't worry, man, I'll just put it in the bowl. But when I went to put it in the bowl, I put it in the wrong bowl, and I put it in the water bowl. so the money just like completely got soaked. Oh man!
You've never told me that before.
When I'm telling you that I like nearly like sprinted off walking with Nicola, I was so embarrassed, man. Like, I completely didn't mean it at all. I just didn't look at the bowl, and the dog made a noise like it was like the dog was like, oh man, like on them, like, oh.
Oh my god, do you know what? That's the
Oh
type
my.
of shit that happens to me and you though. Like that's a very me and you thing to happen.
Because I feel like me and you are like very like nice lads. Like you'd be happy enough to bring us home to the family. Like,
Yeah.
and I feel like we just do ditzy stuff. Like, and that was such a ditzy thing to do, man. Oh man.
Like it's you know that thing from Monsters vs Aliens where Bob like shakes the car in front of the alien. It's giving that. That's brilliant. On that, I'm gonna say this is another fantastic segue, Imran. Do you know what? I'm kind of ruining the segues by going. This is a brilliant segue. Right, one of my pet peeves, right, and you might disagree with me on this. A lot of people, I get this is probably an unpopular opinion, right?
Okay.
But I have something that like really grinds my gears is people who say cash is king.
Oh, cash is king.
Losers.
Proper
my mess.
No, but it's a proper middle-aged people that say that though.
My auntie is somebody who says that a lot, and we like it's like a trigger point. Like I'll just say to my cousins, be like, hey, "Watch this, I'll wreck your man's head." Here, do you know what? Cash is shy.
No, my uncle always says that. It just, I don't know. It's such a middle-aged like.
Because you know what? I was like, right, okay, look, I get what you're trying to say, right, but you're wrong. You're just wrong, right? You are wrong. It's dirty. It's hard to keep track of. You don't know like where it's been, and also like it loses value over time. Like if you have like, and this is the best way to put it to people who like, especially if you don't know anything about like managing your finances. This is going to be like very mansplaining, but I do think it's important for people who don't know this. They should know. Let's say you have €100 in cash and you have €100 in a savings account in the bank. In 10 years' time, that €100 in the savings account will be worth. Well, this is like an exaggeration, but it could double. It could be worth 200. You know, whereas your cash is always worth 100. And an example of that is like things are getting more and more expensive now, which then like is matched with inflation. So that money in the bank will then inflate with that. So the money grows with it. Cash only devalues, and there's this whole bullshit thing of like if you give €50 to the butcher, that helps pay that worker's wages who pays, and that €50 stays the same.
Waffle.
That is not the case now, and like I feel it's a lot of people who are one trying to avoid tax or two trying to avoid paying like card dealer fees. But what and this is a real fucking like it's like Holt when he starts talking about dentists and doctors in that episode of fucking 99. This is my fucking like trigger point.
You're off trigger mansplaining right now.
No, I will die on this hill as well. And like the only one circumstance where I'm like, right, okay, I agree with you. It's like when like electricity goes out and you can't take a car payment, but that's not a problem anymore. My phone can take payments. My iPhone can take a payment. Like I done it with Simone's card last week. I tested it out, and there's loads of card machines now that can take payments without like that are battery operated, that don't need like to be hardwired electricity up. Like
Do you think the cash environment and lifestyle is running out? Do you think it's kind of adapting now into this kind of like wireless transactions and like card payments? Like I think cash will always be around, but I think it's very much coming to like the lower end of the scale now where people are taking cash.
I don't think it'll be gone in our lifetime, but I think in like our grandkids' lifetimes it would be gone.
Definitely like in the next like 100 years I can see it like kind of deteriorate now, society, definitely. For
sure. Yeah, I think especially because like it's just a kind of an older thing, and we haven't got a lot of time to like get into it. Maybe if people have more opinions on that, they can talk about. I've said that before, and like I either get a reaction like you where you're totally on board, or I'm ostracized for it. Like no, one way or the other. I'm just gonna read out a message that we have from one of our listeners who has submitted a few. One of them being a slow walker, so I'm not really gonna go over that, because it's pretty much emphasising the stuff we said. We agree with you. We love you.
Yeah.
But loud chewing. Now, this doesn't wreck my head.
I had that on my list too. But again, that's on like at the cinema, or like if it's like really quiet like in a quiet environment, like at the library when you're studying for like your exams, and someone's like.
It doesn't. It's not something that wrecks my head that much.
No, I wouldn't say it's like one of my top tier pet peeves, but it's on the lower scale.
I get why it would annoy people. And then the next one was interrupting people and not apologizing for interrupting them.
Oh, yeah. I'm always doing that.
On board.
I put my hands up for that. I'm always interrupting people. And I do it to Nicola all the time, God bless her. Now, I have become, I'm trying to get better at it, but I think I just want to get into, like I said before, when I get into a topic, I want to say my point of view. I don't know why. It's just like a burst of energy. Like I want to say the first thing, and then keep the conversation going, kind of thing. But we're human. We're getting
no perfect. But sometimes I think there's a very strong possibility we have ADHD as well, that undiagnosed ADHD, and I think it's always being like we're gonna forget what we're gonna say, so we're just gonna bounce.
We're all on the spectrum. It just depends how high we're.
The next, I'm just going to try and boom this out because we do have to wrap up soon, guys. So the next one was people who don't clean up after themselves, and more specific examples being like after a shower or like after they've made a meal and stuff. This is where me and Simone have an issue because I am very much. I want to clean up straight away. Simone's like, we'll leave it till the next morning. I can't sleep. I cannot sleep.
Yeah. You're like Nicola.
Yeah, no, like I want to. I'd rather it just done straight away. Like, no, it's not a problem. Like, big time, but like it's just two different mindsets. Like, we've already gone over slow walkers, micromanaging. Shout out to the bosses of the world.
Mine's very macro management at the moment, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, for sure. Like I've had really bad, but I've had both ends of this. I've had great bosses for this, and I've had bosses who are way too involved. When I say great bosses, I mean bosses who are like, I trust you, you do your thing, and that's grand. And then I've also had bosses who like, I literally like I had a boss before that I had to CC on nearly every single email that was sent on the company.
Jesus.
He was just, I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to end up in hot water with myself, but let's just say that was not a fun time in my life. No. Sitting beside, sitting beside somebody and they're checking their phone or talking with, I assume they mean like when you're having a conversation with somebody and they keep checking their phone. Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
I feel like it depends really who you're with. My thing is like if I'm out like with the lads and I haven't seen them in a while, like I don't want you to go on your phone. Like it's just really disrespectful. Like if me and you met up for dinner now and you were on your phone all the time, I'd be like, can you please? I would say it to you. Like I mean, we've been friends for years, so I wouldn't care. Like I'd be like, here man, do you mind just going off your phone? Like unless it was something important, you know what I mean. But if it's just like you're chilling on Snapchat, like why are you going? Why do you even bother even go out?
It really depends on how often you see the person, because if it's me and Simone, not that big of a deal because I literally live where and you have conversations every day. Whereas like if it's like me and you now, like maybe before you moved away, not so much because we would see each other like once every week or two anyway, so not as much. Still a bit rude for sure. Something we both wouldn't do. But we gotta wrap up here, guys.
Unfortunately, Imran has to run to work, but nice to hear from you.
It was a good episode. I tell you, the segues were on peak. I tell you this, but I'm just going to wrap this up really quickly, guys. Thank you so much for listening / watching The Distance Dilemma, and we will see you next week for episode number 13. Thanks for tuning in, and goodbye.
Thanks, folks.